On kilometre 109 of the interoceanic highway, a town has grown up out of the jungle. La Pampa is built up around one thing and one thing only: gold. You can't see it, but you can see the consequences of the gold fever. A huge settlement made out of wooden poles and plastic sheeting, and lurid bars selling sex. Her name is Selena, she says, and she's 19 years old. She studies industrial engineering at university, but right now she's on holiday. It's a rough crowd here, but she can make more money in a week providing beer and company to minors than in months of work back home. She could be telling the truth, or her story could be as false as her exotic nom de guerre. In this world of shadows, nothing is quite as it seems.
La gran mayoría viene así como engañadas, les engañan con mentiras, diciendo que van a trabajar en restaurantes sobre todo, ¿no? Entonces cuando llegan a la zona no es lo que les decían cuando salieron del lugar, ya empiezan a trabajar en bares y por ende en bares ya les obligan ya ellos a tener contacto, relaciones sexuales con personas por dinero.
This doctor, who has asked for his identity to be protected, has spent years providing medical care for these women and girls. By day, outside the same bar, health workers give the girls medical attention and try to teach them about safe sex, whether they're here willingly or not. But even in broad daylight, strangers, especially those with cameras, are not welcome. We're around 100 kilometers along the interoceanic highway from the regional capital, and this is the entrance to La Pampa. A little bit further in from here, and you're in a wild west of illegal mining, brothels and criminal gangs. There's no state presence further in here. It's a law unto itself. But every once in a while, the authorities make a foray into the jungle. These plainclothed police officers are looking for human trafficking victims. To find them, they have to pass through huge areas of Amazon biodiversity, which have been transformed into desert by the hunger for gold. Where we're going is so remote and hard to get to. There's no access for ordinary vehicles. The only way in or out is on motorcycle. In these spaces, large mining camps loom almost out of nowhere. As the police arrive, women and girls flee into the bush, some even with babies in arms. As they're rounded up, the squalor and misery of their lives becomes clear. Police and prosecutors have cast their net wide in this settlement in the middle of the jungle, and they're searching every one of the bars and brothels, complete with the rudimentary sleeping arrangements they can find. Everyone they come across, they try and take the name and documents of, as they're doing right here, but they're specifically looking for minors. Despite the appearance of many of the victims, the police do not find a single girl under the age of 18. But they do find accounting books showing how money owed to the girls is withheld, meaning most don't want to leave until they are paid.
Hay que tener en cuenta que estas personas que viven acá están bien organizadas, ¿no? Algunos tienen teléfono, tienen motores, por tanto nosotros suponemos que siempre hay que mejorar nuestra táctica o estrategia de trabajo, de inteligencia, porque cada vez ellos van superándonos a nosotros.
Rosa Condori says she's 24. She supports her 2 children by working here. They stay with her parents.
Envío plata, a la semana me doy una escapada, 2 días, un día regreso también.
She says there's no work where she comes from in Peru's southern Puno region. Others claim they came of their own free will, taking advantage of the summer holidays to earn some extra cash. These 2 say a friend told them about Zorro Valencia, the name of this sprawling mining camp which sprang up in a matter of months. It's the first time they've come to a place like this, they say. They don't plan to stay long before returning to Cusco. But others say they were tricked. The arrival of the police meant a lucky escape. These two fled the day they arrived, hiding in this makeshift hostel.
Solo nos dijo, antes de salir de allá, nos dijo para cajera y vender bebidas, ¿no? Porque este sitio es de mina y los señores, los que trabajan necesitan de abastecimiento de bebidas heladas y esas cosas. Pero nada.
¿Y al momento de llegar también que dicen algo?
No, ya no nos dijo nada.
Hombre, nos hemos sorprendido por ese
No
barro
dijo nada.
exploitado. Sí, a mesa, ¿no?
Dicen que ese es su cuarto.
Sí, nos indicó cuál de ellos es nuestro cuarto, se pusieron a preparar el desayuno ellas, nos sirvieron y que estamos empezando a comer, dijo, ya sabes qué chicas, se salen, no sé a dónde se van, pero se van por allá a pasear, váyanse por allá, nos dijo.
Both aged 19, they said they arrived at 7 in the morning, just hours before the raid. They didn't suffer the same fate as others who've tried to escape, says the doctor who spoke to CGTN on condition of anonymity.
El año 2013 ya un grupo de chicas, ¿no? De dos chicas así les querían escapar, salir de la zona porque no les gustaba, se dieron cuenta que no les traía nada bueno estar trabajando en los bares, entonces y los dueños y ellas eran las que estaban incitando a las demás chicas a salirse de esa zona del trabajo, no trabajar para ellos o no ser explotadas sexualmente. Entonces ellas, como eran solamente dos o una chica de ellas, ¿qué hicieron? La agarraron y la mataron. La cortaron sin cabeza, sin miembros superiores y lo botaron ahí cerca, debajo del puente. Entonces a la vista y paciencia de toditas las chicas para que puedan verle a la chica que por hacer así, como diciendo, una revolucionaria, entonces para que las chicas tengan miedo, entonces la mataron ahí y la dejaron ahí.
6 hours drive away along the transoceanic highway in Cusco, Peru's tourist capital, young women are lured in by job advertisements. They offer menial work but paid at double or triple the going rate, with transport included. With an income like that, the offers can seem too good to ignore. And they're effective, says women's rights worker Virginia Rojas.
7 de cada 10 son mujeres y alrededor de 3 de cada 10 son niñas menores. Entonces sí, por eso es que desde Promsex trabajamos esto por un aspecto de género, ¿no? Entendemos que la vulnerabilidad está más en la población femenina y especialmente en la niñez y en la adolescencia.
The trade revolves around the price of gold. Since the global financial crash in 2008, gold prices have been at an all-time high, with more than 500 square kilometers of jungle destroyed. Criminal gangs are vying for control over an illegal gold trade worth up to $3 billion, according to one economic study. Perhaps long overdue, since 2015, there's a prosecutor's office dedicated to combating the people trafficking that comes with the rise in crime. We've had information from the police that they've arrested 5 suspected people traffickers, along with 7 underage girls who are being exploited sexually. We're on our way to see for ourselves. Several hours' drive from Puerto Maldonado on the banks of a river, a boat approaches out of the darkness. Coming ashore, teenage girls rescued from a remote mining camp. Also brought in, with their hands bound, are the women and one man who allegedly sold them into sexual slavery.
7 menores de edad, 16 años. Ya tenemos 5 detenidos. Entonces, luego del operativo, lo estamos procediendo a trasladar a Puerto Maldonado, que es la ciudad capital de Panamá.
Official figures in Peru show more than 420 women and girls were rescued in Madre de Dios since 2015. Nearly half of them aged 17 or under. Underage girls are the principal concern for the authorities, but they're not the only victims of traffickers. Adults are also tricked into virtual slavery. The Global Slavery Index says Peru has nearly 70,000 modern slavery victims. Most of them are women engaged in sexual exploitation. Yet despite dozens more raids, only 3 out of 100 of those charged with trafficking receive prison sentences, according to CHS Alternativo, an NGO. Peru's Vice Interior Minister, Ricardo Valdez, told CGTN the country's patchy judicial system is allowing impunity.
El Poder Judicial, sus departamentos de estadística no pueden ofrecer muchas veces ni la situación del expediente, ni cómo va evolucionando el mismo, y esa ausencia de información es precisamente la que genera esos espacios grises, oscuridad, y en esa oscuridad obviamente siempre el fantasma de la corrupción aparece. Y si tuviéramos procesos muchos más tecnificados, mucho más transparentes.
But corruption and vested interests in the gold rush mean officials often turn a blind eye to what's staring them in the face. Meanwhile, the power of the criminal families grows, and the girls keep arriving just as readily as tourists pour into the region's jungle lodges. It's not for nothing that in Peru, people trafficking is being called the invisible crime.